Alrighty guys, welcome back. Just gonna get some glamour shots before I begin. This polished turd has spent more time on jack stands than it has burning rubber this year. So, as some of you might know, doing the cheapest anything, you're gonna run into a couple problems, like I did. Now, most of my problems weren't even because of how cheap the car was. It was more of my own stupidity and carelessness. So I've run into a few of you guys at car shows and things like that, and you've all asked to, do an update video on where the turbo is, or the turbo build is, on kind of how the car is doing and things like that. And this first year, the year that I thought I was going to get to more competitions and things like that and progress as a driver, has been really hard, mainly because, well, I'm not a mechanic. I only pretend to be a mechanic. I watch a lot of YouTube videos to try to figure things out, but I guess I got a little bit careless with the way that I assembled the engine, the way that I pretty much did everything on this car, and I've learned a lot of hard lessons. So as you might see, it is not turbo. I ended up pulling that off for now because I wanted to focus on just getting the car together and running so that I can get to competitions. Again, even that was hard enough. But this is all just kind of here. I was making sure the car made good oil pressure before I put everything else back together. I had a little bit of a situation with the slave cylinder as well. I replaced that, and now we're gonna continue assembling. We're gonna put the oil filter right down there so that this whole area is gonna be nice and free. So assembly continues. So the reason this car has really caused me a lot of problems. Well, first of all, the little fix that I thought was gonna fix the axle issue. As you know, these, especially when they're low, they can't handle much abuse. The axles will either pull out of the axle or out of the CB cup, or, well, I thought my fix would help it. Now it's not pulling out of the CV cup, it's actually snapping the shaft of the stock axles. I've got 3 snapped shafts sitting over there. So that fix was not really a fix because the stock axle shafts are actually pretty weak. So I ended up going with some DSS 800 horsepower axles, and they have been great for the 3 or 4 weeks that I've had them on, but I already have a torn boot. And as you know, DSS doesn't warranty boots because it is a wear item. No matter how much I tried to explain it to them that it shouldn't wear out in 3 weeks of pretty moderate use. I haven't been to an event with these axles on, but they've been, no more clicking. They have really tightened everything up back there. So no complaints other than the axle boots already. And I mean, they're $32 each, but it is what it is. With how much they're asking for these axles now, $32 is a drop in the bucket. So the rear end is all taken care of. I don't think we're gonna have to touch anything back there for a while. Now, the reason the engine is being worked on once again, this engine, not this engine, but the drivetrain has been out of this car probably 6 or 7 times this summer. And so I have my table of shame set up over there. Sorry about the mess. I wasn't about to clean it up for this video. So anyway, so this is the table of shame. As you might have remembered, I was putting together an LS1 with kind of some nicer parts, aluminum block. I had it all machined, looked at the machine shop. They made sure everything was good. They cleaned up the heads. They did some work on them. These are 243 heads. I really wanted a nice LS1 that was very capable, and that's what I was putting together pretty much all winter. So come springtime, I had everything together. I hit the starter, and it sounded really weird at first. I have those clips. I might attach them if I can find them in time. Otherwise, I might just post them separately, but it sounded weird. I could hear a definite click that shouldn't have been there. And I should have investigated, or should have spun it through by hand. But I was so excited to get the engine, running. I kind of looked past all that. And the sad part is I had a video of this happening. You can hear the piston disintegrating like this. And causing all of this damage. So I had my son in the garage quite a bit over the winter, and he likes to hide bolts and my tools all over the place. So I have a sneaking suspicion that while my intake was sitting on the ground, he put this 10 mil into it. And then I installed it without looking. Of course, it could have been just my stupidity. I could have left the 10 mils sitting on the valley cover and not inspected the heads before I put the intake on. You know, whatever it is, the damage is done. The head is repairable-ish if I had a TIG welder. I don't. The block ended up having a pretty big gouge in it all the way through to the water jacket. So the block, I think, is being made into a table. I sold that. Had to sell the pistons one by one because, again, this one's trash. Turns out another one was damaged from the metal being sucked back in and into another combustion chamber. So this engine, you know, pretty much got 30 seconds of runtime. So as soon as it started, its fate was sealed. The cheapest LS1 swapped manual, you know, FRS lived for 30 seconds, and it immediately self-destructed. So the title isn't clickbait. It literally only lasted 30 seconds. Now, that's the LS1, the nice engine that I wanted to put together. The 5.3 lasted quite a bit. I put it back in because, again, I really wanted to make it to some events. But it was also not immune to destruction at proving grounds. I came for Friday, and I think I might have filled up with some bad gas or something, because we have a melted piston right here, and we have a blown ringland right here. This was, you know, NA, obviously, so there wasn't any boost to be seen. So the only thing I could guess is bad gas. It leaned out, overheated somehow, and, well, that 5.3 popped as well. It's actually sitting right there. It's going to the scrapyard. So that was the last of that free 5.3 that I got when I traded in my 350Z. Go! In between all that, there has been another engine in here. A friend of mine donated a LY6. It's a 6.0 out of like a 2008 Silverado. He donated the block. I put some 706 heads on it for higher compression. And it was just kind of an engine that I slapped together with whatever parts I had, because, again, I really wanted to make it to an event, and I was really proud of myself for that. And I put the engine together with the lifters that came out of that LS1, because I figured, you know, 30-second runtime, what's the damage, you know, what's the worst that can happen? And well, a lot could happen, because again, about a minute or two of running that engine, I don't know if it was because of the lifters or there was something already wrong with that engine, but it begun to round off the lifter wheel and began to dig into my camshaft. So it made noise immediately. I stopped, pulled it apart, realized that the lifter was being eaten. I can actually probably find it here in my box of shame. I must have thrown it away. But anyway, that lifter had this wheel pretty much eaten flat. I don't know what it would cause. What would cause that? The wheel didn't. I made sure that they weren't stuck or anything, but for some reason it locked up and just started grinding away at my cam. Put a new set of lifters in, and it still had a weird lifter noise. So I never took that engine to the track. I didn't want to risk, blowing up and causing a bunch of problems for everybody else on the track, having to clean up my oil stuff. So I just dailied the car a little bit, babied around the neighborhood, made sure that I could make it home if it ever left me stranded. And now this is another Gen 4 6.0 that I put together with some dished pistons and again those 706 truck heads. So they are not the best flowing heads, but they will give me some pretty good compression, and that's all I'm after right now. I have spent a little bit too much money on this car this season, and I haven't gotten to drive it very much at all. So I've been selling a lot of stuff to kind of bring me back to where I started, and hopefully this engine will not tick, will not make any extra noise, and I can get out and actually have some drifting videos. When I came out on proving grounds, I went to the road course Friday and pretty much got 6 or 7 laps in because I came late. It was my wife's birthday, Anyway, I came late, got 6 or 7 laps in, and then the car blew. And I pretty much packed up and went home. I didn't want to stay for the rest of the event if my car wasn't going to be operational. So this is how this summer has been. Just one thing after another. My friends have been laughing at me. I'm the butt of their jokes lately because this thing just is a garage queen. It's been on jack stands most of the summer. And it seems like every time I try to get it back together and operational and everything, it just lets me down again and again. But we are hoping for something better. We're going to be installing AC. I don't know if the camera picks that up right now, but we want AC in this car. And this is actually a LT transmission in there right now. I found a really awesome deal on a LT transmission. And there's a guy in Washington that converts your mid plate. So that transmission is almost free. There's the GTO transmission sitting over there. We'll see if I keep that or sell it. Again, this car has been eating through a lot of my funds lately, and we need to recoup some. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for, noticing. It's really awesome to go out to a car show and see somebody that has watched some of the videos. It's awesome to meet you guys, and I hope that this car stays together long enough to actually drive. We're getting ready to go to Oktoberfest or Drifttoberfest at Brainerd, and that's why I'm putting this car together right now. I need this car ready. I'm really looking forward to going on the road course and practicing some more for 2023. So yeah, this car, while it looks pretty, it sucks. Don't do this. Or do, if you have like a lot of free time and a couple bucks, then do it. But if you don't have any time, this sucks. Anyway, thank you guys. And well, build season's beginning, and if this engine actually stays together, I will continue to do something fun. I need a turbo in this car sometime. I really can't get away with it. I'm rambling on right now. This car will be turbo someday. Can't afford it right now. I don't have the time for it right now. But eventually, this car will make all the right noises. But for now, it doesn't. Thanks, guys. Subscribe or don't. I'm not a professional. I'm barely a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. I'm barely a driver because I've only been out once this year. But anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe. Bye.